Imagine science fiction, history, fantasy, and the Victorian era all wrapped up into a museum exhibit. Well, it's coming, Steampunk Springfield. It's coming at the Springfield Museums, and joining me today is curator Bruce Rosenbaum, who's a nationally acknowledged expert on steampunk, and is here to get us all excited about this exhibit. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So talk to us. Well, first explain, I know I got into a little bit of what steampunk is, but give us a better detail of that.
Okay, can I just put it in simple math terms?
Go for it.
Just to kind of simplify it. I think steampunk equals history plus art plus technology. HAT. So you can think of a hat, steampunk hat, and kind of a little bit of a mnemonic device there. So it is that fusion of history plus art plus technology.
Which is kind of Springfield is a perfect place to introduce this, because Springfield is known for its innovation when it comes to
absolutely.
machines.
And it was wonderful when Springfield Museums called me, because they, you know, their museums, they have a history museum, they have an art museum, and they have a science museum. So there it is. It's kind of the equation right there. Throw in a little Dr. Seuss. If he was alive today, he'd be a steampunker.
Absolutely. So what went into making this steampunk exhibit?
So when I was first approached, steampunk is, it's kind of the what if in science fiction. What if during the Victorian period or the industrial age they had modern technology? It's as if the computer was invented 100 years before it actually was. What that would have produced in inventions, innovations, gadgetry. So Springfield was a hotbed of invention and innovation and business and industry in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Indian motorcycles started here, the Duryea motor car, Merriam-Webster, which is still here, basketball, and the list goes on and on. Actually, there's a list out there of the 50 firsts of Springfield. So we were thinking about how we could celebrate Springfield's history, but then create inspiration for what Springfield can become, because there's a lot of changes now happening in Springfield. So we sat down and we thought about what we could do to kind of be that spark of the reimagination. And we came up with 3 separate exhibitions, steampunk exhibitions. The first one is 51st, Springfield's Inventions Reinvented. And so it's actually these inventions and innovations that artists are using as inspiration to reinvent. So we have a whole set of objects, including Indian motorcycles and motor cars that are in steampunk full glory. And behind a lot of what we're doing is about repurposing. Right? So we're taking objects that existed during that period and giving them new life, giving them new purpose. A lot of these objects, they're beautiful, they were made with pride and craftsmanship, but technology has passed them by. Some people would even consider them obsolete. So we want to give them new life and new purpose. So that's one part of the exhibition. And the name of the exhibition is Steampunk Springfield, Reimagining an Industrial City. So it's, we want this to be a way for people to rethink what Springfield can become. Second one is Brassy Bridal. So there is a whole movement in the steampunk world for steampunk fashion, which can include taking Victorian clothing and kind of modernizing it, giving it a modern twist, which could include technology and gadgetry as part of the dress. And another part of the movement is also kind of coinciding with weddings, where the brides don't want to have kind of the traditional white wedding gown.
This is definitely the way to go, right?
Yes, absolutely. This is not
anyway.
traditional. And there's a lot of creativity and play. So we put out a call to artists, fashion designers, to come up with steampunk wedding gear. So bridal gowns, grooms wear, jewelry, accessories. So that is actually, that exhibit is going to be at the George Walter Vincent Smith Museum in a beautiful Victorian painting salon. So it's going to be in a really nice part of the museum. So we're looking forward to that because, and especially for the opening, people are going to get dressed up in steampunk Victorian wear. So we're really looking forward to that. And I do encourage people, if they're coming to visit the exhibit, that they can get dressed up if they'd like. And then the signature exhibition is the one that I've been most closely involved with, and that is Hue Machines. Hue Machines, I've always had this idea that wouldn't it be great to bring back iconic authors and inventors, people who have literally changed the world in terms of what they wrote about or what they created, to bring them back so they can change the world again. And especially working within Springfield, using these authors kind of as the metaphor and as the narrative to reimagine this industrial city. So we came up with this idea, this narrative that taking iconic authors and inventors like Jules Verne or Mary Shelley, H.G. Wells, Edison, Tesla, Isaac Singer, George Eastman, all these great people who had impact, and making them time travel. So time travel from their own time into their future, which is our present. And of course, if you know the laws of time traveling, flesh doesn't travel, human flesh. So they have to repurpose themselves with the objects that they've kind of found that's around them, that are meaningful to them. So they are traveling forward into time, and they can't go back. They can only go forward. And they're coming back as the machines that they either wrote about or created. So Jules Verne comes back as, we're calling him the subhuman, which is the Nautilus. Mary Shelley's coming back as Lady Prometheus. She is basically the high voltage machinery that brings Frankenstein alive. And H.G. Wells comes back as the time machine. They come back physically as these machines. And we're hoping with this, again, fusion of history in art and bringing in technology, which these Hue Machines come alive. There's an activation button, and then all of a sudden they start to move, they light up, there's sound, and again, it's a creative way to be able to kind of bring these people back to life.
I imagine a very, very fun time for museum goers.
Yes.
Curator Bruce Rosenbaum, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Liz.